to give us a direction of what could have gone wrong, who let the ball, who dropped the ball, and what can be done to get these things back into motion. And with me in the studio today, I have Pastor David Wamathu.
Thank you, Fred.
And I have George Ngaira.
Thank you for having me, Fred.
Basically, we want to look at some of the issues that have been happening. Right now, one of the top things that have been happening is the demolitions that are going around. And there's also supposed to be another demolition that is going to go around, and unless these guys can come to agree. I'm talking about the Kirima land. And yesterday, the president also talked about yet another land, which, well, things are going to happen pretty soon. And so I think it will be important if we look at this aspect, and also later on we find out whether the impeachment threshold in this country when it comes to the governor, whether it's too low, taking into consideration what has happened in Meru County. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Now, I mean, I don't know whether it's a good thing or it's a bad thing. Quite a number of people have lost their properties. You're talking about palatial buildings being brought down in Mavoko. And then now we are looking at yet another phenomenon that is about to happen in the Kirima lands, where thousands of people who had gotten land illegally may actually see those buildings being brought down. What is your thought about this? Let me start with you, Pastor.
Well, thank you very much, Fred, for having me again.
Yes.
It is always a joy. And a very pertinent question that you have asked today. I think land is a motive issue all the time. Yeah. And several things has been happening that people has been on spree. Going and taking whatever they think is available, they go and take. I can tell you something like, I sympathize with some of the people whose properties have come down. But let me tell you one thing. There has been something like Mavoko. There is something that was happening.
Yes.
From 2015, the whole issue, it was advertised, even in the newspaper. And people were told, beware that this is actually not a land for sale. But you know there are cartels who will actually do whatever they want, and they will sell anything. They can even sell air.
Yes.
Now, let me give you a story about what happened with this Mavoko. Because actually one of my friends was about to be conned.
Oh, really?
Yes. So what happened is that the brokers, they used actually to be at that place. You go on the ground, what do they tell you? You ask them, where is the title? They tell you, don't worry about the title. The title will be coming. So they were actually buying properties even without the proper documentations.
So people did not even see the mother title?
No, they didn't even see. And people are telling you, and you know what they used to tell one another? Let's build, because if you build, at least you'll possess the land. And therefore, what many people did, they were actually building so that they can be able to, like with Hunk, the government, that in the time they come looking for this land, they will see this is the property which has been built, and therefore the government would feel bad, or the company would feel bad bringing down the properties.
Yes.
So actually many people knew.
So they basically knew the land belonged to the company.
Yes, they did.
And they built because they were basically trying to ensure that by the time the government comes in, it cannot bring down the buildings because there will be so many.
Correct. And this is actually what has been happening. In fact, I know you are having a guest on Wednesday.
Yes.
Ask him about that because he deals with the land.
Yes.
He was almost about to be conned. But you know what happened? I love our ladies. When he went home and asked the lady, the lady of the house, and told her, I have seen a very good property. And then the lady asked him, where is the title?
Yes.
Where are the documentation? And he gave the lady the stories, and he told her, look, this is what is happening on the ground. So there are no titles, but people are buying. One of his friends actually invested, and actually he built. He was among the people that the property was brought down.
Oh,
so it is actually something that people knew. And I think it is actually a very good thing that now is happening right now. because people should own property legally.
Yes.
And you know, that's where we talk about you are good in one area, I am good in one other area. When it comes to buying land, one of the things, it is very important for you also to go through the legal way. Getting through the lawyers, some of the lawyers at least who deal with that,
yes,
they would be able now to seek, you know, they have more intelligent information.
Yes.
Any property that has been advertised or that has been put a caveat, they will always see.
Yeah,
when
they will know
just, yes,
this is a, don't touch this.
Yes,
line.
when they key the number like this, they will see this one, it has a caveat. So for you, you may not do, because for you are seeing a prime lad and you are just learning and saying, this is a good lad, and you do this kind of a thing. So I would say it is very important for Kenyans to be aware, and the transactions of land, it is something one has to be very, very, very careful when
you know, I saw a clip that was doing runs of a gentleman who was telling, you know, a group of people, anaambia title ni karatasi, tengeneza, get and put up a structure, hata kama ni choo ya mabati, you just put up a structure, title ni karatasi. And I listened to him, and you know, I got heebie-jeebies. I thought, what in the world is this gentleman talking about? Title is a piece of paper?
It's crazy.
Gentlemen.
You know, Fred, first of all, once again, thank you for having me. And then secondly, let me take this opportunity to wish the former president, you know, President Uhuru Kenyatta for turning 62. God has been good to him. We wish him, he's our only surviving president,
yes.
Our former president.
Yes.
So we want to wish him a very happy 62, but 60, how do you put it? 62 birthday.
Yes.
Yeah. Probably yesterday. On the issue of land, you know, land, Fred, is the reason why we even went into the Mau Mau's went into the bush to fight for, because land is a major factor of production, and it is the main source of capital for anybody that wants to thrive in a society. And so many people, you know, try at least in their lifetime to be able to own something. There's some pride that comes with owning a piece of land or a property for your family and your people that you support with. So people are aware that of how important that is. That's why sometimes they take advantage of genuine buyers. Some of these buyers are actually not illegal buyers. They're people,
just
people
innocent
buyers, people who worked very hard. They were able to, you know, save some of their
maybe
money.
a little bit ignorant because due process was not followed.
Due process was not followed, but then how do you know if the system is rigged? Because they get assurance. One of the things that they take you through whenever you want to buy land, with some of these land buying, land selling companies, is that they tell you we have credible titles that you can verify, and then they're able to corrupt land officials, who then, if you go and do a proper search, you'll have a verification that indeed this is a valid piece of property. But then again, that later on turns out not to be the case.
There were warning signs. There were adverts. They were put up. The governor of Machakos County himself came up and said, guys, keep off this land.
Correct.
I tell you, even that governor, and I used to, some time back, I had such a conversation in Machakos, the late Kalembe Ndile,
yes,
good friend of mine. You know, after, you know, he left office as an MP, he used to manage a local hotel there called Machabi.
Yes.
If you've been, those who've gone to Machakos, and we used to have this conversation about the history of that land. That is public land. Everybody knew that is public land. But at that point, it had been ceded to the people, and now people are being politically accommodated into that space. And there was political guarantee that this is a property that you can own for a lifetime. But then, so the warning signs and all these things that were there, but, you know, they didn't take them quite seriously.
People just ignored them.
They just ignored it because there was that political guarantee from the local politicians. And I agree that you could probably call it ignorance. But then again, for you to go ahead and put on a property that is worth 10 or 20 million, you must have some level of guarantees. That you know that this is a property that I can be here for a very long time.
You don't have a title deed. You don't have a title deed. If you go to land's office, the mother title reads the name of the company. You know, it reads the name of the company. When I'm trying to understand
Fred, law, our Kenyan law is very clear. It's where he talks about ignorance is no defense.
Yes.
Let me say one thing. When you actually see caveats everywhere, and you go with a political wave, especially like the politicians,
Yes.
they are very good in trying to entice. Because, you know, for example, they may think that this thing will not catch up with me when I'm actually, they are looking for votes. When at that particular time they want to make people happy.
Yes.
And that's why we say there is politics and there is leadership.
Yes.
And you should be very careful in terms of the political wave. Because let me tell you, many people are losing. Like this gentleman I'm telling you, he is very close.
Yes.
And you'll actually get to hear about it even off the air. You'll actually ask your guest on Wednesday.
Yes.
Ask him, actually people, they could see red flags.
But you still...
But you see, the thing is, the land was not costing the value that they were buying the land was way much lower.
So you think this is negligible?
Yes. So what they are saying, I am actually acquiring a very good property at a very low value. And they always say, when you find something that is actually looking that good, you must start asking yourself some few questions.
You need to think twice.
Yes, think twice and ask yourself a question. How would a lad from this area cost this much?
Yes.
And then when you go and you are asking, actually, when someone tells you that there is no title, and you started well by saying, some people are actually telling you that the title is just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It is actually one of the government thing recognized by the government. So it cannot be a piece of paper. And that's why we are saying there are actually very many things that when you are actually buying a land that you have to check. One, you have that title.
Yes.
You have the mother title. There is what they call even, is it the green card or something?
Yes.
Which actually will be able to show...
It gives you a history of that
history,
land.
yes, the history of these things. So what I am saying is that let the Kenya not be duped. When you are buying the land, you can lose it even with the legal, but the chances are a little bit lower if you go to the right people who are actually, and actually there are quite a number of companies who are selling land.
Yes.
And they have also been duped.
Yes.
But I can tell you from the experience of being duped like that, they have actually, you know, they say, once bitten,
twice
shy. I can tell you today, Fred, if you tell me to buy a piece of land and you don't give me documentation, I will tell you, Fred, you are my friend. But let our friendship get to that level. As far as the land is concerned, let's leave it like that. Because many Kenyans are going to be conned.
And actually, if you look at, I think it's something that had gotten into the system, the Kenyan system.
Yes.
I mean, you can just invade. I know you also a victim of that.
Yes.
I'm also a victim. My dad was a victim of the same.
Yes.
And I know probably if we've asked Gaira here, he will tell us probably he knows or he's also a victim.
We have a situation somewhere.
That is true. You can see.
As in it's been so embedded within the system, and it's so refreshing to see the judiciary cracking the whip so that people know choices have consequences.
Correct. True.
Actually, Fred, for my case, you know, in Webuye, which is my maternal home, and where we actually have put up some commercial properties, we had a problem with what they used to call the Chetambe forest, which is actually forest land. And last year, just towards the election, we had a fears that the Ministry of Lands, the former Minister for Environment, Keriako Tobiko, had actually put out a circular that now it's about time people live off the forest land. Now you see where we have our commercial property, which we paid and built on it, and we have tenants. It's actually being an extension of the forest, and we were supposed to leave by December. So it still brings us back to the issue of management of land. I think it's an area that presidents have come and gone, and didn't do quite well in how to quite well in terms of how to regularize and formalize how we manage our land. First of all, there was a spirited effort by the former president, President Uhuru Kenyatta, when he was on this land titling, national titling
the
campaign,
digitization
the digitization
campaign.
of the land
Yeah.
process, which is not supposed to be a very difficult process, Fred. I keep telling you that, you see, if you manage land, then you'll address production and manufacturing well, including zoning, because we've all now admitted that urbanization is the way forward. And so there's a way that we have to balance over population and the little available land. And so you can imagine the process of digitizing. I remember when Ngilu was Charity Ngilu, the former governor Charity Ngilu, was the minister for lands, and he had this, he was spearheading this digitalization process in 2013. I went there at lands because we had some transactions that we were doing there. So he was able to go get, I think he got like 200, 300 students that have done record keeping, and they went into the titling center and rearranged the whole place. And they were trying to put transferring the hard data into the system, something that I do believe can be replicated 47 times.
Yes.
And in 90 days, all the 47 counties will have digital registries. But I don't know why 10 years after, I remember land is a fully devolved function.
Yes.
It's supposed to be a municipal. The local county council is the one that's actually supposed to be managing the records of land and things like that. These are some of the areas that I still do believe we failed. Government, particularly former president, he had that opportunity, since that he was the first president that came in with the devolution thing. So he ought to have addressed it, but he failed. I hope this president and the local leaders would be able to address that, because it's not a very complex thing.
I'm looking at the Nyamakema situation,
Yes.
where you have literally hundreds of thousands of people. They've built all kind, multi-million dollar investment
Yes.
in that area. Yet the land belongs to an individual. They must have checked the title, seen the title was reading the Kerema family.
Yes.
But you still go ahead and something needs to be done to these people who are selling land, because they're getting away with it. A majority of them are politicians.
Yeah, that's what we are saying, by the way. Can I tell you? I know George is also in politics in one way. And I know he is actually in politics, but he is actually someone with integrity. Because what happens with the politicians, sometimes they lose their integrity.
Yes.
The politicians are the ones who, in one major way, they confuse the electorate. What they do is that they can actually fight for something that they know it is not right, but as far as they can be able to get votes,
they will
do anything, and they don't care what really happens to you after that. Do you know, one of the things that we talk about is the scarcity mentality. And this scarcity mentality is something which is very bad. Someone was actually telling me, when you have the scarcity mentality, or you will see even in terms of the driving, someone is actually trying to catch up with you on
does not want you to pass.
Yeah, he doesn't want me, and he doesn't. In fact, when someone else is trying to pass, because of that mentality, what will happen? They will actually even hit you in the process of doing that. But you ask them, where are you going?
He's going home to park the car.
Yes. Another thing, the scarcity mentality is whereby, for example, you go and buy some bananas. You come with the bananas at home. What happens is that when you come, your child, who is actually like 3 years old, will take actually 10 of them. But you know what they will do? They will only eat the first one, and they are tired and they sleep. And you ask yourself, why are you taking the 10? It is actually the scarcity mentality. So what happens with most of the people here, and it is actually a disease and a sickness which is there, when they see an empty space, that mentality,
this is just
yes, it is actually in them, like that child who is actually taking the
just want to take every empty.
They want to take everything empty, and they don't even care where it belongs to. Fred, it doesn't need. Then there comes a person and tells them, you can secure this land. So that mentality now, with the words of confirmation with someone with authority, now it confuses the people 100%. That's why you will find people will actually go and they will even fight, and they say, you cannot remove us from here. Because we have been here for 20 years. But the fact that you have been somewhere for 20 years and it is not your land, it doesn't make it right.
It doesn't change.
It doesn't
if
change
you didn't
anything.
have the original title
Correct.
to the land, it doesn't matter. You never got it.
Correct.
You know, Fred, for as long as we do not embrace the concept of law and order in this country and in particularly in this continent of Africa, where people do not respect systems, we are going to have a very big, huge challenge trying to get some of these changes. Look at the issue of Nairobi, the CBD, the issue of hawkers, matatus, and sanitation. 3 very easy. You don't need billions of shillings to do that. You just need to implement what the law says. You understand? How do you come in town in the middle of a central business district, go on tarmac, lay your products next to
On the road.
on the road, and you're selling fresh? Who even approves that? Because when you want to run any eatery or any food commodity, there's some certifications that you have to go through. You get certificate of health, food handling, and all these things. Who approves that you can go and sell your fresh oranges on the tarmac within town? And then when
just hold on to that thought. I need to take a short break. I need to bring in a gentleman.
Yes.
He was coming with the train.
Yeah.
His name is William Koi. He's the Secretary General of Kabila la Vijana. We want to find out from our Kabila la Vijana, what tribe is this when you look at the state of this country. So let's take a short break as we bring the gentleman in. Through the morning rush and the buzz, find a voice you can trust, a voice of reason, a voice of direction, and a voice of hope.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Live. I'm Cynthia Nanjala.
And I'm Sammy Adika. Rise and shine, folks. We hope you are ready for an energizing start to your day.
Absolutely. We are here to bring you the latest headlines and trending news stories from the world of politics,
Business and finance, health and lifestyle,
agriculture and sports.
So grab your coffee, sit back and get ready for a fantastic morning of engaging discussions and news segments.
Join us through our social media handles, #The Morning Live. This is Morning Live, exclusively on EBN TV.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
Now, welcome back. We finally managed to get William Koi settled. As I said, William is the Secretary General of Kabila la Vijana. We're going to find out what this Kabila la Vijana is all about and whether they are adding value to this country. Welcome, young man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And the point of correction, my friend, it's Willis Koi.
Willis Colley.
Yes.
When you came in, we were talking about the land issue.
Yes.
And if you look at what has happened in this country, if I can guarantee you, the people who are selling this land are politicians.
Yes.
Their agents are young men like you,
Okay.
who are selling this land to innocent people. I remember there was a hope that was there in the country that the young people are going to change the way things are done in the country. I don't know. If I ask these gentlemen who've been here for a couple of decades, I don't know whether they will confirm the young people. What has gone off?
Okay. Basically, first of all, thank you for having me today. And about the issue of young people and being the agents of politicians and all this. All of us here are Kenyans.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in Kenya for so long,
Mm-hmm.
and we both know what happens in the political arena. They always say you need to have a godfather and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Swahili saying that goes, mtoto wa nyoka ni nyoka. Okay? So if you are trained by a snake, you definitely be a snake. But what has always been an hindrance is when you find someone with good idea, visionary ideas that are thoughtful and helpful, the same politicians who are training their people for their own interest will fight you. There are so many cases that we've tried to bring sanity, it is all over. And personally, I've been arrested so many times fighting for the rights and advocating for the youth agenda. The main reason why Kabila la Vijana is in existence is because we as the youth of this nation, as you just said it, when you're talking about the issue of unemployability, we don't talk like a youth from Nyeri, a youth from Kisumu, a youth from Kakamega. We're not saying a Luya youth, a Kikuyu youth. It is the same unemployability that the youths from Kisumu are suffering from is the same that the youths from Nyeri are suffering from. It is the same that youth from anywhere is suffering from. And to curb all these issues, we as the youth, it is high time we stand up and speak in one voice. And that one voice is the tribe of the youth, the common tribe.
Meaning you're supposed to speak in terms of the needs that the youth are facing right now in the country.
Yes, okay.
Now let me bring back that question of land in the country as we also start looking at the impeachment thresholds in this country. The MCAs that we are currently having within the different counties, majority of them are young people. Majority of them are young people, but the Green is doing a lot of biasharas, so that threshold, they can be bought at any time. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the land as we switch now to impeachment.
Okay, my thoughts on the land.
Do you support the demolition?
Personally, I'll always stand with justice, and I'll always stand with equality.
So do you support the demolition?
If it is justice, I support it. I support what is just.
So what is just in this case?
Just, okay, basically, justice is basically having whatever you're supposed to be doing or having, like what is rightfully yours. Okay.
So if the buildings are being demolished, if the land did not belong to the people who have built on the house, built on the land rather, it's justice. Bring them down.
It is justice.
Okay.
Yes.
We are agreed on something.
Yeah.
Yes. That is justice. The law has to be followed.
The law has to be followed. Yeah. For this case, personally, okay, I know the issue of Nairobi, the con game has been so rampant and all that, but at the end of the day, we have a law, we have a constitution to abide with. Okay? If it is justice, you can imagine if you are feeling so bad for these people whose houses are being demolished, what about the rightful owner of that land? He has also purpose for that land. For how long has he been having these court cases? How much has he spent on having sorting out that land issue? So if he's the rightful owner, I'll always go with justice.
All right. Let's switch this to impeachment. Meru County,
Yeah.
this is the second time the governor is actually being taken through the process of impeachment and actually being impeached by the county assembly. I don't know, she may not be the most hospitable or skilled in handling, in people skills.
Yeah.
But probably what she's been accused of doing, she has not done, because even the last time they tried to bring this up and it couldn't hold water. But again, they've gone for the jugular. You deal a lot with the politicians.
Yes. You know, Fred, it's very unfortunate that the leaders in Meru County, led by the MCAs, have completely refused to pay attention to what is the priority for the people of Meru, and are now engaging in what I would probably consider continuous witch hunt of Governor Mwangaza. And I am not from Meru, and I have absolutely no interest in Meru politics and whatever happens there. But as a citizen of this republic, even this president has alluded to the fact that he's just gotten into office and he should be given time, whether we like him or not, or whether we voted for him or not. But he's the president of the Republic of Kenya. He needs to be given time so that now at least he's able to implement what he has in mind. Then we can vet it and vote for it or against it when the right time comes. I think we've come at a time when now we need to go further and legislate, like what happens with the clause on recalling of a member of parliament. There has to be a certain time frame that a leader should be allowed to perform, so that then he can, a realistic time. He hasn't even executed one full financial year. I wonder I was looking at some of the allegations that were being placed on the table for Governor Mwangaza. They were very flimsy. They are actually personal issues. They are issues of personality, differences, that I might be too loud or too quiet for you. And then because I'm too quiet, you feel that I'm not a good leader. Or because I'm too loud, you said there's no leadership in this, a lot of noises. So it's very unfortunate what has happened to Governor Mwangaza. I think it's about time that if I was his political advisor, I'd probably go for what in Makueni, former governor, did. He said maybe if this county government isn't working, we might as well push for complete dissolution of the county government, and see how we can all, if this is truly the verdict of the people of Meru County. It's very unfortunate, and I pray that the Senate, as she heads the Senate now for the final verdict, they really look into the issue so that they separate what is politics and what is real about the accusation that he has. Remember, Governor Mwangaza is the only non-UDA governor in the Mount Kenya region.
Yes.
All the other, I think, 8 or so are UDA governors. So she comes in as an independent governor in a community that women haven't quite been given their space. It is a little bit better. It's a little bit better than the Western region. You know, the Western region is the shame of this country when it comes to electing. It's the only region, Fred, that doesn't have even a single elected member of parliament. From Vihiga to Trans Nzoia, not one woman got elected as an MP was elected in that whole region. You can imagine, and Central Kenya has 4 governors, women governors, which is, and Nakuru is way ahead. They have governors and members of parliament. It's almost like we need to emulate that. So when I saw for Governor Mwangaza to be able to beat political heavyweights in 2017 as an independent, it was a huge milestone for the women.
It looks as though her goose may be cooked this time. Because when I listened to the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, when he went there, I think he had offered to intervene. But the leaders told him, you leave this thing. And he said, well, we've been advised and that's what we are going to do. We are going to leave this issue to the people of Meru.
Fred, the impeachment, just quickly, the impeachment of a governor, just like the presidency, is done by elected senators, not the nominated ones. So we have 47 elected senators in the country, which is almost half, must be 22 to 26 because of the switch that happened after the election. So she now needs to be politically shrewd, bring on board the opposition, and then try and swing in 2, 3, or 4 women senators that she has, and she can narrowly survive that vote, because this is political witch hunt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Fred, I can tell you, even the other impeachment, it was also not easy.
Yes.
But let me say, as George is saying, there is actually some people, sometimes they sit and they reason. I can tell you this issue of impeachment, and it is quite a shame. Ebu and Meru,
Yes.
they are notorious in this kind of a thing.
True.
Wambora
Yeah,
had a
yes.
difficult.
I don't know the
And they are neighbors. They are neighbors. They have actually developed what we call bad manners in politics. You know,
Yes.
can I tell you, to be very forthright, I am in business.
Yes.
Even in business, if you start a business today, if you don't make the profit in the first year,
Yes.
we are good with you.
Yes.
If you don't make business profit in the second year, still is not bad.
Yes.
Where we start asking questions
It's
is
on-
the year number 3.
Yes.
That what is happening,
Yes.
because at least now you have learned the ropes. What is happening that you are not? Are you sure about this business?
Yes.
And I want to echo the words that George has said.
Yes.
There should be at least a time that we are saying we must allow even these issues of impeachment. You can't get into the office
And
Yeah.
people
and the
are
first thing that we are hearing is you are going to be impeached.
3 months
I
into
look
office.
at Wabora. When did he work? You know, every other day it was impeachment. It was impeachment. And you see the people of Meru, they need actually to look and say, you are denying us what we are supposed to be getting. Because all the time that is being spent on the court cases, on the Senate court cases and all these things, it is actually making the development to be delayed. Because right now, is she going to think about development
Oh,
or actually
certainly.
to save herself?
Yes.
So what we are saying is that there is a political, and that's why we say politics, when it is not, it doesn't come together with leadership. Because
Yes.
there is the politics and there is leadership.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep on saying that. There is a political leadership. When you find people are just making noise for anything, you find that sometimes they make us not to progress. Even like the county, not to progress. Because there are so many things that people in Meru, they need. But you see when the people, the MCAs, are going every other time and just saying, even if you are not going to be impeached, we will still put another one.
Yes.
You know, now that is not leadership.
Yes,
It
that's
is
just
actually,
witch hunting.
it is witch hunting, which is a very bad thing. We have seen some few governors who have been impeached, and even when it got to Senate, they have been told, go home, because there are some few things which are critical. If, for example, there are cases clearing for corruption, we have seen everybody says no for
We
you.
we had Babayao.
Yes,
and we
Waitito.
had and
Sonko.
Sonko.
Yes, there are some grounds that you say these ones are actually, but there are some here you look, and I like what George said. They are flimsy things.
Yeah.
There are things which, if you look at them, it's actually people who don't want to accept that they were defeated.
But it looks as though this time around, the first time you could say there was political goodwill to save her from the executive. Right now, it looks like that goodwill has been spent. And so, knowing the executive, when it gets to the Senate, chances are Mwangaza is going to go home.
But before even, can I tell you one thing?
Yes.
This thing is not new. Go to Kirinyaga. Kirinyaga Waiguru,
Yes.
there is a time she was left alone.
Yes.
But she fought her battles,
Yeah.
and actually she is completing her 10th year
Yes.
in terms of governorship. Can I tell you, there are times that people sit down and start to listen. And I like what actually he said. We can make whatever noise we want.
Yes.
But the people who have the final say
It's a Senate.
is the Senate.
And if the Senate makes a decision and, she is against it, she can still go back to court, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? Goose cooked?
Personally, this is the price that Meru people are paying for electing politicians when they had opportunity to elect leaders. You know, the difference between a politician and a leader. Politics, basically, is a game of personal interest. Me as a politician, what interest do I have? Leadership is interest for the people. And this is what is lacking in the Meru County Assembly. Personally, these MCAs, they are there, and as you said, majority of them actually, Meru is having a very youthful assembly.
Yes.
And I've been in communication with some of them here and there, and trying to reason out. what could be the possible reason? Even the president himself, His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, every minute, every day, everywhere he goes, he's like, I've just started, give me time. Why is it that the Meru County MCS, which is dominated by the ruling party actually,
Yes.
they don't want to follow what their leader is saying. Their leader is asking for more time to settle in their own home. You know, it's like trying to please the chairman of Nyumba Kumi and fighting your father. You get?
Yeah.
Who is also just following the rules and the regulations that are put in place with the Nyumba Kumi. Governor Mwangaza, basically whatever is happening is not something that it's not even logical. It's purely politics and it's for the sake of interest. These are some of the people. She's one of the governors who went independent, who was elected independent.
Yes.
And immediately after the elections, we all know the wrangles that have been there. The executive, the ruling party trying to bring her on their docket and all that. But being a firm woman that she knows the principles that she's working with, and the fact that she has the interest of the, I can call them Americans, I think she should be given time. She hasn't even finished. She hasn't even finished the budget that she was given, the first budget.
Yes.
You get it? So you don't expect manna from heaven to fall to the Americans. And even the reasons and the flimsy reasons that the MCS are giving can clearly tell you that this is not about the interest of the people.
It is politics.
It's
pure politics.
And you know, Fred, just quickly, you know there's a legal process of how you impeach a governor.
Yes.
Thank you. And that process goes through the county assembly. And part of it is that on the impeachment bill,
Yes.
on that motion of impeachment, you have to list the clear reasons as to why you are impeaching this person.
Yes.
So that, for example, if you list mismanagement of resources, you also table evidence to show that this particular leader or governor, these are some of the accusations that you're putting on the table. That's why for YT2, they went ahead and actually presented bank accounts and they could show money trail from suppliers of the county, which went into his wife's account and even her daughter, his daughter as well. That was a clear evidence of what happened. I looked at the impeachment bill that was placed on the Meru County Assembly for even this second impeachment of Governor Mwangaza. You know, it's a personal issue that he doesn't respond to calls. You know, it doesn't talk nicely to the MCAs. It has nothing to do with the actual work.
It's not a marriage.
And you know that talking nice. You know what it means. It is money. And you know the first one, and I'm only saying that because George has said it.
Yes.
The first thing is there are some demands which are unreal. And when these demands are not met, people are up in arms. So I can tell you, that's why we are telling you.
Yes.
It may look like it is a very heavy thing, but it is pure politics. And that's where now, even the Senate itself, it looks at it and says, what kind of precedents are we going to set?
Yes.
If, for example, Fred, you come and say, I don't like your attire today.
Yes.
You know, you start throwing stones on me because you don't like my attire.
Yes.
The thing is, why is it, what is it that it is doing to you?
Yes.
It is mine.
Yes.
I chose it.
Yeah.
The thing is, this woman is a strong woman. And I think, first of all, we need to give it to her. When you throw men who are in great parties.
And you're talking about the Kereito Murungi.
Yes, yes.
Linturi.
Yes.
Kereito billionaire, Kereito Murungi.
Correct. Yeah, that's the thing. So when you look at that, there is something that people saw in this woman. She was a woman. Is it?
Yes.
She was a
And she was still independent.
Yes, she was independent. So it tells you this is not the time she is losing in terms of leadership. Actually, I like what he has said. Where the problem is not actually on the top. It is here at the ground.
It's the people of Meru.
It is the MCA's levels.
Yes.
That's where we have a problem. And that's why you can see people in Meru are fighting. There are some people, they go for the meeting and they are giving cows. And they say, we want those cows.
Yes.
Because do you know what a cow can do?
Actually,
to
that's
a
what
hustler?
Kawera has been doing.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know actually the small things that she is doing, but people are preventing her from doing, is because they know they are touching the hearts of the electorate.
But if you look at some of the people that she's taking, she's going against.
Yeah.
I remember the CS internal security, Kindiki,
Yes.
had actually banned the meetings where Kawira was going out and giving out those cows.
Can you imagine?
It just shows you there is probably no goodwill from the executive now. They
may not be there. It may not be there, but the question is,
Yes.
just another day. What did you see this woman? And I like her style. Some of the things she does are not good. And everybody has their own weaknesses.
Yes.
But can I tell you, when the policemen, just another day, they came to arrest her.
Yes.
In fact, she did not resist. She actually followed them and told them, let's go to the court.
She
You
goes
tell
into
me,
the car and
she
then
goes to the car.
The police are telling her, please come.
Come out. Why? It is because there is no justified reason as to why they are doing whatever they are doing. Can I tell you one thing, and I would say, let these people allow this governor to work. They are wasting time and they are wasting resources for
Yes.
Meru County. This is something that I can tell you. It is going to be there. It is going to be another Wabora case.
Yeah.
They are wasting time.
Yes.
The county will not develop.
Yes.
But Mwagaza will always be taking money to her bank account.
Okay, Fred.
Yes.
So, I'm someone who's always entitled to what I say. And
What do you...
He takes responsibility.
You take responsibility for your words.
for my words.
Oh, okay,
And I don't
that's
take
good.
responsibility for how someone decided to understand it out there.
Yes.
You know, the Meru MCS, basically, as it is in the forefront that they have their interest that is not catered for. And they are trying to fight for this personal interest. Okay?
Yes.
And it's so unfortunate they got a non-partisan governor
Yes.
who came there independently. And I'm so happy when I see Mwangaza working for the people who elected her,
Yes.
regardless of the party
Yes.
that she was in.
Yes.
And for that reason, you know, there's this book called 48 Laws of Power.
Yes.
These people, for some reason, they feel like a governor is a threat to their boss. You get?
Yes.
When you try working so hard, basically, in
Yes.
our country,
Yeah.
not only our country, even in our continent,
Yes.
Africanicity, the main thing that we need to deal with is neo-colonialism. We need to be decolonized from the mind. You know.
This is a symptom of colonization.
Yes, colonization of the mind. You know, a good friend of mine, Professor PLO, while at the university, he once said something.
You notice a good friend of mine, and the name was dropped. Okay.
He once said, he who controls your mind,
Yes.
basically controls you.
Yes.
Because it's your mind that generates whatever you want to do.
True.
And what you're going to do and how you're going to execute it.
Very
so
true.
if you find somebody who is basically pumping rubbish and garbage to your brain,
Yes.
basically whatever you'll be doing and whatever will be coming out of you will be rubbish.
Yes.
But if you're finding someone who is pumping sense and forcefully injecting it, you will find out that even if you didn't like it, you will come to terms with it. And that is what Governor is doing. Governor, for so many reasons, she has been called to State House so many times. And maybe you find that whatever she's being told there is not what she promised the people of Meru. And whatever she's doing to the people of Meru, because we are in a hustling government, unfortunately, led by billionaires and billionaires. But you see, when even the Bible says that the rich shall continue being rich, and the poor, even the small that you have, shall be taken from you. And that is the narrative that the hustlers are doing. The billionaire hustlers, they're trying even to take even the small that a normal Mwanainchi has. And so it's about social status. So when the rich see that you're trying to empower the poor, that's where now the problem comes. They're seeing like, you know, for politicians, one art that they have mastered, you know, when you keep on saying lies and lies and lies, it might be perceived to be truth. When you consistently tell lies,
Yes.
it might be perceived to be truth. And so when they see someone who is trying to work for the people who elected them,
But
they
don't you
are
think
their agenda?
Don't you think that probably she should then adjust the way she does her things? I know she's a very strong-willed person.
Yes.
Sticks to what her mind is set on. Don't you think for the sake of being able to do what she wants to do for the people, she should adjust to the environment so that she now, if all these people want to hear is when they call the governor picks up the call. Pick up the call.
You know, Fred, what Governor Mwangaza is going through is a political process.
Yes.
And so she needs to handle it in a political way. And I think the best ally she needs to have now is somebody called Luambora. He understands how to deal with this MCS.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, he survived multiple times. They tried to impeach him almost 4 or 5 times. It was like a hobby for them. You know, like they see him, they see impeachment. So, but he survived it. He has no time now. Governor Mwangaza has no time. She needs to quickly go to court, try to delay this process of her being seconded to the Senate,
Yes.
then go back to the people, do what the Governor Makueni did,
Yes.
which is move into collecting signatures to try and purport to be dissolving this
Dissolving
county,
the
so that you can shake up things before they get to the Senate. And in the Senate, because they're taking her through a political process.
Yes.
And the only answer to this is a political process, because she's hardly done a year and a half.
Yes.
You understand?
And even the first year was so full of
when
tumultuous.
the late Governor Joyce Laboso, easily one of my favorites, I worked with her when she was in ODM those days. She was a wonderful lady, and when she at her burial, her husband said something that was very emotive. She said, my dear wife Joyce, we met when you were a teacher at Kipsigis Girls. You went ahead to become a member of parliament, an assistant minister. You've now become a governor. Go in peace, because God has been good to you all through in your career. She's done very well. It was a moment of pride, and to see the governor's numbers double from 3 and now to 7, which is a very impressive feat, particularly in terms of women empowerment. And that's why I keep telling you that the shame of this country is the Western region, where women are characters there don't regard women as leaders, and they need to change. We need to embrace more and more women like this Governor Mwangaza.
We will teach them.
Your closing comments, and then I come to him.
Now, you are actually...
Or rather, let's start with the young and then...
Yes.
Okay. Me basically, whatever.
Just very brief.
Okay, briefly. To be very brief, what I want to tell the people of Meru. If you want to continue living in Spain.
In what?
In Spain.
In Spain?
Yes. If you want to continue living in Spain, where S is silent, then continue following political masses where M is silent. Thank you.
Lord have mercy.
Okay, for me, it's just to pray that the leadership in Meru will consider the interest of the people, the regular people, and put it first, and rescind the kind of decision they are doing, because it's not serving the interest of the people who actually elected them to serve them. Yeah.
Pastor David.
Actually, Fred, because you're my English teacher, I like your English.
Yes, thank you.
Maybe you can actually put it better than me.
Yes.
But there is a statement that says, he who seeks for justice,
Yes.
they must come with clean hearts.
Yes.
Let me tell you, let the people of Meru, the MCAs, go with clean hearts. If they go to the governor with clean hearts, these issues of not doing things for Meru people is going to come to an end. And some of these people, if they are not careful, they will go the way of Makueni Kibudha Kibwana. When he reached a point and he said, what is it? What
Dissolve
is that
the county.
we can dissolve? Let me tell you, the time that Mwangaza calls for that, because it is one of the things that he has, you will hear all the MCA quiet.
Let's hope sanity comes back to that county. It is a very rich county. It's a county with very beautiful people. And it will be very unfortunate if during this period you throw away a leader simply because the MCAs don't like her personally. And there's some leaders who wanted to become governors in that area. If you know what's happening at the back, they are the ones who are orchestrating whatever is happening. You will get the leaders, yes, if you throw away Kawira Mwangaza. You're the ones who know where, they say the wearer of the shoe is the one who knows where it pains. You're the ones who know where it pains. And probably if she goes, you may start having the same attitude the people of Libya have today after Muammar Gaddafi was killed. They are wishing him back. Do have yourself a lovely morning. Remember, Daughters of the King are coming later on this morning to give us things that are affecting the women folk. Probably they will touch on Mwangaza, you never know, and how she can handle the kingdom business. So stick around. Have a lovely morning.